worst days of the year.
ABC's Barry Albinger. Dow and S&P 500 both lost almost 3%. The NASDAQ lost
Coming up on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show, lots of Madison Southern talk today. We've got the new AD, Mr. Simmons, on with us. We'll also talk about Madison Southern volleyball and on Madison Southern basketball, girls basketball as well. We are live at Buffalo Wild Wings here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Sports fans, the wait is over. For the next hour, sit back and enjoy the ride on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. Share your thoughts and opinions on the live feed on WBON TV, and stay tuned for everything you need to know about your local sports teams, college and pro sports as well. The Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show is served up by Buffalo Wild Wings and brought to you in part by the law office of Patrick O'Neill, Honchels, and King Brothers Used Cars. Now, here are your hosts, Michael Watkins and Samantha Burford.
We are live at Buffalo Wild Wings here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. Samantha Burford, Michael Watkins, and we are glad to have you tuned in. Samantha, another beautiful Monday.
It is. And it's Madison Southern Day.
Exactly. Last week we had all Estill County. We had the new golf coach, or not the new golf coach, but the golf coach on, the new football coach over.
Yeah, he's definitely not new. I'm telling you, the golf coach has been there a long time, and he wears a lot of hats.
Yes,
he wears a lot of hats. So.
But we got a guy that wears a new hat over in Berea at Madison Southern, Jay Simmons, and is it Mr.? Is it Coach? I mean, what do we?
Coach is fine.
Or Summer's husband.
I get that a lot too. You wouldn't believe how much I get that. But Coach is fine. I coached for 7, 8 years. When I'm walking up down the hallways, most of the kids, it's Coach Simmons. So that's what I get more times than not.
Yeah.
Let's
so
talk
how
about,
excited? Well, you know.
Same thing. The new position, AD. You took over for Robert Hammonds, who had really only had the job for less than a year, I guess, kind of. So how did that transition come about?
It was quick turnaround, really. I had interviewed for the assistant principal spot too, which I'd been. Like I had applied for the AD spot when Calvin first got it, Creech, and then when Hammonds, but it was never really worked out because Summer was there. We didn't really have the time. I was always interested in it, just never worked out.
They might have thought that was a conflict of interest, maybe, with your wife being the girls' basketball coach.
Well, I don't think we could have pulled it off with 2 kids,
with 2 girls,
being gone as much as she was, and then I'm having to be gone now. So
the budget for girls basketball would have been like a lot bigger than everybody else's. So.
We probably would have been playing Rupp Arena or something.
Yeah, Coach Clark would have been, what happened to my football budget? It's all at girls basketball.
But when Mr. Hammonds got that position, then I moved, it kind of quick turnaround. Once he moved, that opened that spot up, and all this happened kind of right after Summer said she was going to stop coaching, so my time was freed up and just kind of fell in my lap and ran with it from there.
Right. Well, I asked her if she missed it, and she does. I mean, it's been in her blood for a long time, so you understand how she's feeling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we met, and when we met in college, she was playing basketball pre-college, so was I. So it's like athletics, basketball is what we know, and it brought us together. So I know she misses it, but she got to where she missed the girls too, and I'm starting to miss them just a little bit too. But hopefully we can work through that and see how it goes.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. Well, like before, you guys will take turns. Mm-hmm. When you're at games, she can be there rooting on the Eagles. So, of course,
there you go.
And
you'll be there.
She will be. We both love sports. We love being around at anything, golf, basketball, football. We go to everything anyway. So.
Yeah, and you have a golfer, it sounds like.
Oh, yeah.
So
well, hopefully. She's
just starting.
I live it, so I can't help it. Like the whole month of July, I felt like that's all I was doing. And if she ever wants to go, I'm always going to take her with me. So we take her over to the Gibson Bay Junior Clinic, and Jason and Scott over there do a great job with her. So.
Now, how old are your daughters?
8 and 2.
8 and 2. So they're going to grow up to be big Eagle fans.
There you go.
Very much so.
So talk about the process. So since you took over as AD, you've had a lot of changes that have taken place. So you got the new basketball coach for the girls, new baseball coach. So talk about those changes that you have been a part of since you took over as AD.
The first one came about with Coach Combs and he stepped aside, and then Travis Frith took over and did a great job, in a tough spot with baseball. And after that, after the season was over, we kind of had always, seen Jason. He was in the building, very interested in baseball, coaching at EKU, played for the Rockies. He was a great guy. Couldn't ask for somebody better to be able to put in that spot. And the chips just kind of aligned that it was time for him to do that. He was wanting to be around home more than what he was. So it just fell into place. That's where we went with that. Coach Turley, was a little different situation for me because, we had Summer. My wife was ex-guy. So I had I was very invested in whoever we picked because I knew all the time and effort that she had put into it.
And you knew the girls, too. You were on the girls.
Oh, well,
you want to make sure that program continues successfully.
I had coached, over half of the girls at Fairstown when I was there, so I had all of them. And so I took that process very seriously, and all the candidates I made when we ended up picking Coach Turley, when I interviewed him and talked to him after all of it was done, I said I made more calls to Florida than when I was trying to book our trip for Disney. We could just calling and checking around to make sure we found
references.
Yes, to found the right guy, and we did.
The right candidate.
Yes, he's great. He's been in there with the girls. They've been working hard. He didn't get here till about June 6th. 5th or 6th, I think, when he first got there. So it was exciting, but I think we found the right guy, and I'm excited to have him there.
All right, so funny question, I guess. He asked the serious questions. I like the funny questions. Like, out of all the sports, you know a lot about a lot of sports. Okay, so going into these fall sports, which one have you learned the most? Like, is there any sport that you were like, I didn't really know a lot about volleyball until... you become the AD.
The funniest question that I've gotten so far is somebody knocked on my door and said, "Hey, I need a body check." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "What? What is that?" She goes, "It's for wrestling." I'm like, "I don't know what that is. What are you talking about?"
You're like, "I'm new."
I'm new. I was like, "You're going to have to let me look that up." So I had to stop, and it's for like if they get like a floor burn or something on there, it has to have time to heal, and you have to have a doctor sign off on a body check.
Yeah, especially MRSA.
Stuff like that. And I had no idea, so I've learned a lot about that.
Learning as you go. You will be, for sure.
You get a lot of questions that I didn't know a lot about. So.
But you still got your 2 past people that were ADs in the building, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure you can always go to them.
Oh, I feel like I talk to Mr. Hammonds and Calvin all the time. Like I'm calling them with just random stuff. I feel like I think I talked to Calvin for 20 minutes on Saturday about the football team had their, not the reverse raffle, but their...
Oh, yeah, where they give away that money.
Yeah, they split the pot or something.
Whatever it is.
Like,
10 grand event kind of thing.
Just asking him questions about that and how that went down and just anything. But they've both been great.
Because you've probably always known about it and maybe participated in it and just didn't know how the system works.
Well, yeah, all the boxes you got to check to go through. So it's been an entertaining and a learning experience.
Yes.
So.
Well, Michael has learned a lot about girls volleyball.
Oh, yeah. So we did 2 games last year between Southern and Central, and we'll have Coach Grant on here in a few minutes, but it was just that their physical ability was much more impressive than I thought it would be.
Oh, we've got some girls that are scary in there, like Misty May and Carrie Walsh, Sarah Mitchell, and we've got another girl. Like I wouldn't want to get in front of.
Now Sarah,
like I don't want no part of that.
Is there an Evans girl?
Yes, Evans. I can't. Alyssa
Evans. Yeah. So Alyssa graduated last year, and Mitchell is still here. Or is it vice versa?
I think. Well,
one of them graduated this past year.
We've got one. I think Evans is still here. Coach Grant, I don't know, but we've got 2 that they're both about 6 feet tall and can just
probably going to play in college.
Yeah. Well, Sarah is going to Marshall. Sarah Mitchell is going to Marshall, and then we had another girl, Corey Young, that went to College of Charleston. I think. So we've got got 3 Division I girls in softball down there, and I didn't know we had that kind of talent, but we do. They're really good. So
one thing that I want to ask you about. So how important do you feel like it is for all these sports, whether it be football, volleyball, soccer, tennis, whatever the sport is, to have that rivalry with Madison Central and just kind of create some interest locally as far as those games go? Like, how important do you feel like that is for your program?
I love it. Like, I love that competition still now. It's like you want to beat Central, but also root for Central. Yeah. Like it was when Dominique Hawkins and they made that state. I was at every single game. Now that mean when they're playing us, I don't want to beat them by 20. No, but it's good, and I want Central to be successful because it doesn't do anything. But if they're good, that means our fans are going to come out and watch when we play them. And if we can beat them, or it's our turn to be better than one sport, then that's good for me.
It's a healthy rivalry.
Yeah, always.
And it's not like if you're this is how I feel. If you're a Kentucky fan, you can't root for Louisville. But you're in different classes and everything. So, and a lot of the times in football, whatever the case is, you're competing against each other, but you can still, like, one of y'all can win and one of y'all can still compete, make it to the region, whatever the case is. So it's not like that as far as like the college or your professional sport goes. But I feel like that rivalry, whatever it is, it just helps create interest and buzz around the community for whatever the sport is.
Especially on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Well, when I was at Southern, we never got to play them. The only time you played them was district times for whatever sport, and to me that was, made it even more like intense and it had more emotions come out. Now that we can play them in the regular season in almost every sport, it makes it better because you get to play them twice in a year, and it's good for us and all different areas as far as getting to see them in the regular season and postseason.
As far as basketball goes, now, one thing that we've been focusing on here in the last few years is the seating aspect for basketball and sports like that.
Oh, yeah.
Is that something that you guys will try to incorporate, or are you fine with how it is?
I think we've been trying to work through that for what's best for all schools, for years. Like, it's a conversation that comes up, all the time. And you have to do what's the best interest for your school and for the district. So how that plays out, we'll see. I would love to see it seeded. I think we should all, play each other, and then you go from there. But I also understand the other side of the argument, which you have to do, and especially in administration and athletics, anything that you're in, you got to see both sides of it.
You're right.
And it's really the interest of the kids too, because you don't want to, if Berea, who has had not success against Madison Central or Southern, and they have to play them every single year, it can be disheartening for your team to go out there knowing that that's a game that you don't have much of a shot to win. But if you've got a school that's on your a single A level compared to a 6A school, you have a better shot of winning that game. I feel like that helps the kids out a lot more than having a 30-point loss, or a game that they're not going to be able to kind of learn from in that scenario.
Well, I'd love to see the KHAA go. I wish we kind of had classes
in basketball.
For something
I'm the same way.
In basket. I love the Sweet 16. It's like, could you come up with something where you take all the winners and then you put them in a tournament to see who wins?
Yeah.
That's what would be cool to see. But and again, you have to see the logistics of everything and how it plays out. So
yeah. Now let's talk about football. How excited are you? I know Coach Clark's really excited about this season.
He's got a lot of young guys out there. He's got a lot of young but athletic, playmakers. And then we've got some big guys, Daniel Cobb and those guys.
Dawson Gabbard's a big boy.
Those are some big boys. And J.J. Centers. We got a lot of kids that are, we got some big kids. And then we got some guys that are fast out there making plays. The Etheridge, Jay Sean. And Walt, and we got a lot of athletic kids out there that he's, I've went out and watched practice for a little while. They're just out there making plays, and that's all you can ask for, you know.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see Tobias Storm this year. Last year, he played the quarterback position well, but you never really felt like that was his true position.
And he's switching him up.
He's just one of those kids that is a football player. I mean, you can really plug him anywhere, and he's going to be able to make an impact. But I think now putting him where he's at this year will be able to make him really see his talent level and his impact increase in the football field.
Oh, he's a great runner. Like some of his breaking loose and running as a quarterback, but a lot of people always saw that coming. And now if you can mix somebody else in there with that, he should be fun to watch. And he's a great kid in the hallways too. All those guys are. Yeah. They do a lot of stuff. Their team football camp where they were down there, they were picking up the school and doing all kinds of stuff around the school to help out. So they do a lot more than just football, which is good to see.
We've got a question. Donald Foster, who does Southern football games for us and basketball, said, talk about when the scrimmage was. He's seen it both Thursday and on Friday online. So which is the date for the first scrimmage?
We have a home football scrimmage on Friday against Great Crossing.
Okay.
Yeah, at 7:30. Great Crossings, their field, where they're a new school, wasn't
that's
ready.
A new Scott County school.
And
okay.
It's not ready, so they asked if we could host it. We said sure. So it's going to be on Friday at 7:30.
There you go. So check that out, and we'll have some coverage of that for you as well. Now, we'll get into it. It's crazy to me that football season is already here. It's been kind of slow. But so I've been putting the WBON TV schedule together. We'll have our games announced next week as to what games we're going to be covering on WBON. And, of course, every single Madison Southern football game will be on the radio on 103.5 WKX. So that's an exciting time to kind of get that going as well. Is there anything you want to talk about before we let you go and get Coach Grant on?
Just come out and support. We got a lot of good things going on, not just in the fall. Coach Lunsford with soccer. Got a young group of guys, really talented, and they had a good run last year, won the district tournament. Coach Kress and soccer, they started out undefeated or had a great record last year and had a heartbreaking loss in districts, I think, to Madison Central. Golf programs getting started. They were out playing. Got a text from Coach Gillum today. We had a girl finish 19th over at Model. She's only an 8th grader.
Oh, wow.
So that's going. And, I mean, we got a Fuzz Carson, Braden Carson. I don't know if y'all have seen that. Junior Olympics, like he's won and done really good in the high jump all throughout the summer.
No, we didn't know that.
I saw his mom's post on Facebook, and he has like all kinds of accolades, and he's only a freshman, and he would have broken 61% of all high school records for their track for high jump. So he's got a bright future. We got the Heshme boys in tennis that are really good. Like we had an 8th grader and a freshman, and they made it to second or third round of the state tournament. Just got a lot of good stuff going on, so come out and support us.
Yeah, well, we love having you on because it's nice to hear about some of the other sports that don't, when we think football and soccer in the fall, but there's a lot more other sports in the fall.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of them going. As I've been doing this, band works extremely hard, too. They are out there all the time.
Every day, all summer long in this heat.
I mean, all of our sports are working. They're all down there. The kids are putting the time in and doing a great job with it.
Well, that's why I like sitting in the booth and filling the AC. And then whenever it switches over and it's cold outside, you can
turn the heat on.
So I like
all right, you got him ready? You got him all set up so that the air's on, the heat's on.
Well, we're glad to have you on, sir. Anytime you want to come on with us, update us on what's going on over in Berea, we appreciate it. And,
happy to do it.
We'll step aside, let Coach Grant come on, talk some volleyball with us. Madison Southern football, a couple of weeks away from their first regular season game. Got the Doc Sipple Bowl coming up in September, so all that fun stuff is right around the corner. And again, for every Southern football game, you can catch it live on 103.5 WKXO. And the complete list of our football games that'll be on WBON TV, we will release that next week here on the show. So, Mr. Simmons, Coach Simmons, thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
And enjoy your dinner here at Buffalo Wild Wings here in the Richmond Center. We'll take a short commercial break. When we come back, Coach Grant from the Southern volleyball team will come on and chat with us about their season coming up as well. We are live at Buffalo Wild Wings here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Escape to sports with Buffalo Wild Wings. GM Tommy Martin invites you to come watch your favorite team play at Buffalo Wild Wings. The best game day atmosphere and happy hour in town. Menu items as low as $2 each weekday 2 to 7 and again 10 till close. Plus wing specials every Tuesday and Thursday. Don't forget to ask your server about the Blazing Rewards program and see how you can earn free food. Buffalo Wild Wings, Richmond Center.
It's not a video game or something that's played on a screen. It's Chevy Youth Baseball, touching the lives of 8 million kids since 2006. It's local Chevy dealers giving back. Because every kid deserves a chance to play. We're not just the official vehicle of Major League Baseball. We're empowering the next generation of Major League hopefuls. Because Chevy cares.
Live here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. Michael Watkins, Samantha Burford here at Buffalo Wild Wings in the Richmond Center. Samantha came over today. You never guess what I ate.
I'm going to guess the fresh, never frozen hamburger.
Yeah, it's pretty. I can't get over it.
You eat it every Monday that we're here.
Yeah, it's pretty.
So it's
have you had the burger yet over here,
predictable.
Coach?
It's been a while, but
delicious.
Oh, man, so they've changed it up in the last few months. It's they used to just have the patty already patted out, frozen, but now it's a lot better. They kind of it's a steak burger kind of thing, and it's really good. Put any of the sauces on it and just enjoy it as you sit here
I get
and
a little bit of
taste
everything. I try something different every time
the
I'm
wings
here.
are good too, but I'm more of the burger guy now.
I like their tacos. So.
Well, volleyball season it's here. You guys are practicing, getting ready for the season. Last year I got to see my first full-fledged look as I got to do a couple of games with you at Madison
Central. We learned about girls volleyball.
I was super impressed. You've got some really talented young ladies on your team as well.
Yeah, we've got 4 seniors on the team. 3 of them have committed. A couple of them are going to D1. Sarah Mitchell is going to EKU. Alyssa Evans is going to Marshall. And then Hannah Martin committed about a month ago to Berea. And our 4th senior, Kennedy Easterling, that little crew, they've been playing on the varsity team since they were 8th graders, freshmen. So they've got a lot of experience, and they've been around for a lot of the success. And they've been setting a really good tone here in the off season as we're kind of working in some of these younger players to replace, the seniors that have left. And, we got a couple big holes and some spots coming back. And, they've been very good about working with these young girls. And we played at Bluegrass State Games this weekend.
How did that go?
We lost both games on Friday. They were both very close. We were competitive. We just didn't play our best. And right now, like I said, we've got this group that's played. They've got a lot of experience, and then we've got some other girls that are kind of in some different roles or maybe haven't played as much. And you're seeing kind of each game over the weekend, they kind of got a little better and a little better. We won a couple games Saturday. Yesterday we won all 3 to win our little tournament. So, as the weekend went on, you could just tell they were kind of getting more comfortable with each other.
Got better and better.
At this point in the year, that's really all you want to see is just that improvement here as we're getting through the scrimmages and all this stuff.
When is your first regular season game?
The 20th, August 20th, we play Western Hills.
And now, as far as your schedule goes, when in Madison Central, y'all have the pink game every year. So talk about that and maybe some of the other stuff, big games that you'll have throughout the regular season.
Well, the first 2 or 3 games of the season for us are pretty big. We play Western Hills, which is always a good game. That Thursday, the 22nd, we play Bryan Station, and they'll be one of the top teams in the region this year. And then we turn around that next week and we play Central for the first time up here in Richmond. And then you were talking about the pink game. That'll be, I think it's October 1st.
Okay.
And that was something we started 12, 13 years ago, back when Bill Yarnell was the head coach at Southern and Elizabeth Morrow was head coach at Central. And it was a way to be like, it's a big rivalry. It's one of the biggest crowds we have. And let's do something positive with that. There's always kind of that bad blood. You want to beat Southern, you want to beat Central. We're like, let's take that and do something positive. So it's become a really big deal, and I think we added it up last year. It's something over the 10 or 12 years we've been doing that. It's about $5,000 we've been able to donate to local charities and organizations. And we always try to pick groups that kind of have some connection to our team. So a few years ago we had a player, she had a back surgery over at Shriners Hospital. So that year we donated towards them. My daughter was born 7 weeks early. She was in the NICU over at Central Baptist. The girls, they said, we want to play, we want to donate for them. So we always try to give it a personal connection and, really kind of get people out there and involved. And, I know Nathan from over at the Register, he said, the Southern Central volleyball game the last few years, it's one of the best rivalries in the state. And it really has been.
Yeah.
Every game is super competitive. There's this great atmosphere, and when you can do something positive like that with it, just makes everything better.
And that's one thing that I noticed too was it was intense, but you also saw the respect from both teams, both you and Coach. Is it Kinley?
Yeah.
Coach Kinley. You could see the respect that you all had for each other with both all the players. It seems I think a lot of them play AAU or off-season volleyball together, so they all know each other off the court as well. So that makes it cool.
And I think too, as volleyball has grown, they see the success that we're having. It's whether it's Southern or Central, we want to grow the programs. And we want to grow volleyball in Madison County, and I think you hit it on the head. There's a lot of respect there. I think, the last 2 or 3 years, it was a coin flip. Who was going to win the game night in and night out? Almost every game, was 5 sets, or each set was 2 points difference. So very competitive, very intense, and I think, like you said, it's a very positive atmosphere. There was like a mutual respect for like, okay, you made a good play, now it's our turn to go make a good play. It wasn't kind of anything negative you saw out of that.
Well, both games I was at last year, we had the pink game, and then we did the district championship as well. Both extremely close. Both were a lot of fun to be there, and the crowd seemed to really enjoy the games as well.
Yeah, I don't know how many teachers and students and parents and stuff that will come to games, and they'll come to that Southern Central game, and afterwards they'll stop me and be like, I'm coming to all the volleyball games.
Yeah.
Like if they're all like I'm coming to all of them. They're like, I go to the basketball games, I go to the football games. They're like this match that for the intensity and kind of the atmosphere.
Yeah, I tease Michael a lot about it because he's always done basketball and football, and I was like, you really got to do this game. You got to learn about volleyball, and he did it, and he came out of there going,
it was a whole new world. And, we had
he loved it.
Janet Thacker and Kim Kaywood, who have kind of been some local supporters of volleyball as well, that were on the broadcast with me. And I couldn't even keep up some of the words they were saying. And one thing, what's the libero. That's the one word I always mess up. So I always get that word wrong. But those are really important. I think Taylor does it for Central. You had Corey Young last year. I think was with you last year.
Yeah, Corey had been our libero. She took that job over as a freshman, so she'd been there for us for basically 4 years. So kind of replacing her this year, that was kind of, job number one. You're not going to be able to replace her on the court, and she was the heart and soul of the team. So you're probably not going to find one person that can do all of those things. So, hey, let's find somebody that can go in and pass. Let's try to get somebody else to step into this leadership role. And, I think all those girls came in this year with we got to find, this spot and figure out who that's going to be.
Now, wait, for those people watching and listening on the radio that don't know what that is, explain real quick.
A libero, the number one question I get when people watch volleyball, why is that girl in the other color jersey?
Yeah.
Right.
In volleyball, it's very specific. If we sub somebody in, they can only go in for that position, except the girl in the other jersey, the libero. She can go in for anybody in the back row. She's usually your best passer, and you put her back there for defense. I tell people all the time, like if it was basketball and you could take your best shooter, and as soon as the other team got a rebound, he could run off the court and you could run in your best defender. Yeah. It's how that works. So it's basically it's a free sub that you get. We get 18 subs per game. The libero doesn't count. They can go in for anybody in that back row. They can pass, and usually, like I said, it's your strongest passer, your best defensive player.
You said 18 subs a game. Mm-hmm. So who keeps track of that? How do you know? Like 13, 14.
I don't. And what happens?
Your assistants.
They try to, but
that'd be hard.
But what it is the official. When you watch a volleyball game, there's the guy up in the stand, and then there's what they call the down official. He's the one that stands between the two benches, and he's got a little card. And every time somebody checks in, he's like, okay, 24 for 22. And then below that, he's got 1, 2. He marks them off.
Okay.
Now, if you run out, what does that mean?
That you're stuck with those players on the floor.
Okay.
And they normally will tell you, like, hey, coach, you're up to like 13 subs. You're up to 14 subs.
Yeah,
they kind of let you know.
Because I'm like, I'd be like with my fingers. Okay, now we're at 10.
Yeah, I remember.
With your socks off.
There was a game a couple years ago. We were playing Central, and it was one of those. It was going to like 26, 26, and the official, he said, you've got 1 sub left. And I was just like, do not go in the game unless I tell you to, because you don't want to get stuck with one of our passers that's 5'4" being in the front row trying to block somebody. Yeah.
Well, what are expectations this year? What should we expect from Madison Southern volleyball?
I think there's a lot of potential with this group. Like I said, we've got a really strong group of seniors. We've got some of the best players in the region, and we've got some really talented younger girls that have some experience, and they're kind of being asked to step up in some roles that maybe they haven't before. I think expectations are high. I think this team can do some really good things, but it's just about when they gel. When are they going to get on the same page? We saw that throughout this past weekend. Saw some things we were really excited about by the end of the weekend. Saw some things we need to work on. I mean, it's really just how soon do they kind of feel comfortable with each other and kind of figure out, what do we need to do in certain situations. But, I think we're in line to have another successful year. I know we feel very proud of the program that we've built, and, we've had 3 or 4 years here where we've won 20 in a row, 20 wins in a season. And, I think we have every capability of doing that again. I think, the district's going to be very competitive this year. I think, the region's always competitive, and, I think we can make some noise this year.
Well, Coach, thank you for coming on.
Okay, I got a
us.
quick question.
Go ahead.
Your season is from when to when?
First regular season game is August 20th. Last regular season is October 16th.
Now,
all right.
Do y'all have like a Twitter or a Facebook where fans maybe can
follow you? We have a Twitter that I pretty much post everything on. It's at MSHS Volleyball, so really
Makes
easy.
Makes it easy?
Yep. And, we're hoping to do some things this year where we can get some of the games on, because I know I had a bunch of people last year. We had people, hey, Aunt is in California and she was watching the Central game, so we'd love to try to get you all back, or, figure out something we can do to just continue to grow the game. The more the kids watch it, the more excited they get.
We had some of those, we did 2 volleyball games. Some of those games were more views than some of our football games. I mean, there was just a lot of excitement, and then the fans were commenting. We probably had more comments during the volleyball game than we did in football and basketball seasons, because there was so much excitement. It was kind of new to people that weren't big volleyball fans, and then the people that didn't even know we were going to be live with it were just kind of joined in. Oh, this is Southern Central. So watch what's going on. So
because if you don't know volleyball, I mean, you guys have explained it perfectly tonight, but the majority of fans get it from the Olympics and maybe watching it on NBC Sports on a Saturday, but that's usually like summer sand volleyball, beach volleyball.
Well, I think, as far as volleyball or soccer or ice hockey, a lot of that stuff goes, you really don't see as much interest in it until it is the Olympics now. But when you've got athletes like Coach has got with Mitchell and Evans, and you've got some really good players over there, Central's got some good players, Estill County has got some good players, you really should go out there, because I tell you what, the intensity of these games, the fun these girls have, it's not just going out there and hitting the ball. I mean, they take it very serious, and they are very good at it as well. That makes it a lot more fun to watch, I think.
I love hearing you say that.
Hey, I was impressed. I mean, I really was. I walked down there like they're diving on the floor. Yeah, it hurt me. Like, I'm having to put elbow pads on just to call the game.
I hadn't watched the broadcast. I saw the game, so I just was like, I want to just listen to the game, because I'd had people tell me about it, and so I listened to a little bit of the first game.
Yeah.
And somebody would go up and get a kill. You'd be like, that was great. Like, that was a heck of a play. And it's like you could just hear the excitement. You could also, in your voice, but you could also hear it in the crowd.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's people, they come and watch that game, and then I see them the next week when we're playing, Lexington Catholic or whoever. They're back, and they're like, hey, if it's going to be anything like last week, I'm going to be here every week.
Well, make sure to stay in touch with us. We'll be just anytime we can come over and do a game. If we, the biggest thing with us is sponsorships. But if we could, kind of help cut that cost down, we'd be glad to come over and do some more games and get you all some coverage as well.
All right, sounds great.
Thank you, Coach. That is Coach Green at the volleyball team. Make sure to follow MSHS Volleyball on Twitter for updates on the Madison Southern volleyball team as they begin their season here in a few weeks. So we'll take a commercial break. Samantha, when we come back, we'll talk some more Madison Southern sports with the new girls basketball coach. We are live at Buffalo Wild Wings here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Escape to sports with Buffalo Wild Wings. GM Tommy Martin invites you to come watch your favorite team play at Buffalo Wild Wings, the best game day atmosphere and happy hour in town. Menu items as low as $2 each weekday 2 to 7 and again 10 till close. Plus wing specials every Tuesday and Thursday. Don't forget to ask your server about the Blazing Rewards program and see how you can earn free food. Buffalo Wild Wings, Richmond Center.
It's not a video game or something that's played on a screen. It's Chevy Youth Baseball, touching the lives of 8 million kids since 2006. It's local Chevy dealers giving back. Because every kid deserves a chance to play. We're not just the official vehicle of Major League Baseball. We're empowering the next generation of Major League hopefuls. Because Chevy cares.
Back here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. Samantha Burford, Michael Watkins. Samantha, football season is right around the corner. One of my favorite things about football season is fantasy football.
Right.
And in a couple of weeks, we're going to have a guy on who was a huge fantasy football player. Does hundreds of leagues per year. Stephen Hawley went to model. I know him pretty well. He's a guy that he's had a lot of success. He actually won a professional league down in Vegas, so he's a guy that has had a lot of success. And we'll talk to him about how many leagues he does, his draft process, all that cool stuff. So if you're a fantasy football fan, be sure to check out the show in a few weeks as we get him on to talk about fantasy football and all that goes into fantasy football.
I know last year we talked about you teaching me how to, all the aspects of fantasy football team. But I said, you just make up my fantasy football team and then just put my name on it.
Yeah, I don't know if there's enough time in the day. Now, I could talk to John about it.
Yeah, I don't know if he has enough time in the day to really do that either. Now, have we made our announcement about our guest in a couple of weeks?
No, Coach Elder from EKU Football will be on the 19th. We'll be live at Jack Burford Chevrolet that week. Coach Elder will come on up. It's on EKU Football. But I talked to Kevin Britton last week, so he's good to go for that day. We may also have the athletic and the defensive the offensive and defensive coordinator on later on during the show as well that day. So it'll be a fun week to have him on, talk some football, and get an update on EKU football because they are predicted to be third in the OVC this year.
Right.
Should be a fun season for that team. And I think the fans are excited this year. That's been one of the things that we've seen a decline in the last few years. But a competitive EKU football team makes for an exciting area around here. And I think the fans will be excited this season because they're projected to finish third in the OVC. There are some expectations with this team. Coach Elder has got his guys in the building now. And I think it'll be fun for EKU football this year.
Yeah, so this is his what year? Third year? Or second year?
Yeah, I think
it's
it's fourth.
Oh, see, time goes by fast.
I think it's his fourth season, so
okay.
Expectations, all his guys now. He's got all of his recruiting classes in.
So it would be all of his people. Okay. Yeah, time does go by fast. Well, I'll have to ask him that question and be like, okay, how many years have you been here?
Well, they had the Colonel Caravan that's been going around.
Yes, it's been
the last few weeks. And it's pretty cool to see fans coming out to talk about EKU sports.
Right.
Coach Hamilton does a great job. So I had Coach Hamilton a few weeks ago. We took Morgan to see The Lion King.
Okay.
And Coach was there. We were trying to take a picture of all of us, I took one of Morgan and Reagan, and vice versa. She took one of me and her. We took a bunch of Reagan by herself. Coach is over there, standing talking to his sister, I believe, and he's like, Mike, get in the picture, man. I'll take it for you. So I got in there. We had a family photo. Thanks to Coach for allowing us to do that, and just pretty cool to see him. He's really how good John Calipari is.
Yes.
With the UK and the fans and everything. Hamilton is literally the exact same way with the EKU fans. He is so good at handling the media. He hypes up the team like none other, and it's just fun to be around Coach Hamilton when he's talking EKU basketball.
I'm excited. So that is the third Monday of August. Yes. So students, I should say, will be right back coming into school that weekend. Madison County students start on the 14th, and then EKU, I believe, they'll start rolling in that weekend.
Yeah, and
move-in dates. So it'll be a fun weekend for everybody.
And I think, when the EKU students come back in, traffic's crazy. You
can get anywhere in Richmond right now in about 8 minutes.
You really can.
But when that weekend happens,
about 4 minutes.
when that weekend happens, it will be back to 15 to 20 minutes anyway.
Yes, you got to take the back roads. But I think when the students come in, it makes the town
livens this place up,
it makes it seem more alive. So
a lot more people, and I'm sure our local economy appreciates it because you get more waitresses, waiters, service people, anybody, anywhere. Customer service.
It's pretty busy tonight, but when the students come back on a Monday night, you'll probably see a lot of students in here hanging out, seeing what's
watching
going on.
Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
Pretty excited about that. I bet you can.
We'll take another commercial break. When we come back, we'll have our Law Office of Patrick O'Neill Facebook poll, which, one thing that's been brought up a lot here recently is the impact on fans wanting to stay home to watch games or go to the live events. So we'll have that on our Facebook poll question.
Because ticket sales are expensive.
Yeah.
And if you want to take your whole family, that's even a lot more money.
Yeah.
And concession, hot dogs are expensive.
Yeah.
So, but is it worth the atmosphere?
So that was our Facebook poll question today.
I'm excited to see who won.
What are fans more excited to do? Would you rather watch a game at home or go to the game and watch it live?
I know what I'd rather do. Do you know what you'd rather do?
For sure.
Okay, you can get our answers.
Yeah. We'll talk about that when we come back. We are live at Buffalo Wild Wings here on your local sports television station, WBONTV.com.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills. When you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Escape to sports with Buffalo Wild Wings. GM Tommy Martin invites you to come watch your favorite team play at Buffalo Wild Wings, the best game day atmosphere and happy hour in town. Menu items as low as $2 each weekday 2 to 7 and again 10 till close. Plus wing specials every Tuesday and Thursday. Don't forget to ask your server about the Blazing Rewards program and see how you can earn free food. Buffalo Wild Wings, Richmond Center.
It's not a video game or something that's played on a screen. It's Chevy Youth Baseball, touching the lives of 8 million kids since 2006. It's local Chevy dealers giving back. Because every kid deserves a chance to play. We're not just the official vehicle of Major League Baseball. We're empowering the next generation of Major League hopefuls. Because Chevy cares.
Also, live at Buffalo Wild Wings here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. Samantha Burford, Michael Watkins, glad to have you along here on your home for local sports television, WBON TV. And Samantha, you know, a lot of talk's been going on recently, everywhere really, national, local, state. I mean, as far as sporting events, their cost, everything that goes into that. And would you rather stay at home and watch a game?
Right.
Would you rather go to Rupp Arena and watch the Cats play? Or would you rather stay at home and watch the Cats play? Would you rather go watch the Bengals play in Cincinnati, or would you rather stay at home? I mean, it's the age-old
I guess
question.
it depends on which team.
Who they're playing, maybe?
Well, it's usually if it's the Bengals, maybe stay at home.
Yeah, stay at home. Well, the way they've been playing the last few years.
Right, that's my point.
Yeah.
But now that's sarcasm. But it is fun to take your family out to a ball game and go.
And it's you're building memories too. That's one big thing. You know, you build memories with your family, going to a ball game. You know
the popcorn, the hot dogs. It's all part of the atmosphere.
And if it's a good game, then it makes it for an even better memory.
Yes.
So.
We just went on vacation in Los Angeles and went to a Dodgers game.
Yeah.
All of it.
An earthquake. You had an earthquake.
Yeah, we were there during the earthquake.
So that's even crazy.
It was so much fun. We were all in the same row, and it was just, it's memories. And they lost, which stinks, but
yeah.
Well,
this is a good time to take a look at our Law Office of Patrick O'Neill Facebook poll for the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show. As a sports fan, would you prefer watching a sporting event from your house or be live at the game? Now, so far, we've had 81% of our voters said they would rather stay at home and watch the game. 19% say live at the game.
Yeah.
Here's how I feel about this. So, to me, being around or being able to call the games, like, I do Madison Central football, basketball, whatever the sporting event is, being able to call the games, I personally love to stay at home, turn on my TV if it's a Kentucky basketball game, hearing Jay Billis or Dick Vitale or whoever that guy is, commentate on the game. If it's an NBA game.
Even if you don't agree with them?
Oh, for sure, sure. Because then you get something to argue about.
Right.
If it's an NBA game, hearing Marv Albert or Reggie Miller or some of those guys that are calling the NBA games. If it's college football, you've had so many, legendary broadcasters broadcast these awesome sporting events. And when you're at the ball game, it's a lot harder to listen or pay attention to a broadcast. And you have the ability to maybe turn on your radio and listen to a radio broadcast, but you don't get the ability to sit at home, turn your AC on, or if it's too hot, if it's too cold, start your fire up. I personally love being at home to listen more than even watch the game. I love to just listen to the call.
Okay.
Now, if it is a game that's coming down to the wire, and a last-second touchdown or a last-second field goal or a last-second three-pointer or a dunk is going to win the game, that's a moment that you really are. You
should be there.
Yeah, you want to be there for moments like that.
Like when Madison Central won the region.
Exactly.
That kick.
If I had been watching that game at home, I would have been fired up. But just to be there on the air was even crazier. But to be a fan and be at that game is a moment that you're never going to forget. So that's something that you miss if you stay at home and watch the game. But just the ability, the comfortability, and the affordability to stay at home and watch these games and be in your own environment.
So you agree with the fans?
Yes. So what about you?
I do like going to the games. I think it's a wonderful opportunity. Like we said, it is extremely expensive. Now, if it's a 9 o'clock ESPN game, UK basketball, I think I'd rather watch it at home. But it is a lot of fun to go to the games.
Well, if you're, if it's a Thursday night and UK is playing, Texas El Paso.
Exactly.
Who cares about that game?
It is hard to get excited for those
Yes.
games.
Now, if it's a Saturday
lot of fans
night
complain about that.
and Kentucky is playing North Carolina,
that's a
I want to
different
be
story.
there. I want
Right.
to. So it really just depends on the game, who
That
they're
is
playing,
true.
what the magnificent or how big the level of intensity is for that game. If it's a Saturday night game, you're playing North Carolina, I want to be there. If it's a Thursday and you're playing, Alice Lloyd or Morehead State, not as big of a deal as far as the intensity
For
or
Kentucky.
Exactly.
But now if it's Eastern and Morehead, that's a bigger deal.
Yeah, it's a rivalry game. You want to be there
it's
for
a
that
big
game.
rivalry
So it really
game.
depends
So,
on
yeah.
the matchup, really, as to whether I want to be there or not.
Right, exactly. So, this week they talked about, Mitch Barnhart had his press conference about alcohol sales. How do you feel about that? Because there are other, like Louisville, you can get a nice drink, a beer, and sit and watch the game with the beer and socialize.
Nowadays, most fans we do a lot from EKU football games. I've been to some UK football games. The majority of the drinking begins before the game even starts. So,
especially in football.
By the time you get in there, I feel like you've probably consumed enough alcohol, if you are a drinker, that you don't need anymore.
Right.
Or that maybe it's good for you to stop drinking and then go watch the game. That's what you're there for anyway.
Right.
Now, there are some adults who may feel like it's easier to relax and enjoy the game with a beverage like that.
That are responsible.
But I feel like for the kids, it's probably better for them to not have it in the game.
Right. But
That's
then
just my
there's a
opinion.
lot of people that say there won't be as much binge drinking before the game.
That's probably true as well.
If they can drink it during the game.
I can see
You're
that
not
argument
going
for
to
it.
chug as many beers or hide the flask in your top or
Yes.
whatever, pants pocket, because you can drink it inside.
That's the whole reason why I've been working on my dad bod, is so I can hide the flask in my top. That's the whole reason I've been working on it, So
I love it. But then there's been a lot of comments saying, you know what, if they did sell it at the UK football games, it would be $9 a beer.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't be able to afford it either. But now, a lot of the controversy is only the wealthier people that are sitting in the boxes get the alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying what's funny is calling the not wealthy people aren't allowed to have the alcohol.
Well, and that's one thing I think that UK, the school itself, has struggled with in recent years, is kind of reaching out and catering to your average fan, not your wealthy fan, or even the students, but the guy that only comes to 2 or 3 games a year because that's all he can afford.
Right, but he'd like to sit down and have a beer at the game with his family. Maybe.
I think that's what UK, the school, has struggled with as far as their sporting events go, as far as just trying to cater to that loyal, crazy fan that can't afford to come to every game, but comes to 3 games a year, sits in the nosebleed section, and pays $100 a ticket for it. I think that's what the school struggles with as far as catering to that kind of fan.
So I do believe there's 3 schools that have said, yes, we'll do it. Is it LSU and maybe Texas A&M, I think? I don't know. Is it Alabama?
I have no idea.
No, I don't know that third school. But I think they're going to try to watch and see what happens with them. But like a lot of fans that are commenting on the social media pages, there's been other schools. Why do we have to watch these 3? There's other schools that have been doing it for years. Watch those schools. See, learn from what they did, what was right and what didn't work for them, and learn from them, not just watch.
Yeah, and I think Mitch
So
Barnhart
is that a cop-out?
I think it's
That we're just
an
gonna watch those
excuse
3
to
schools,
see how these. I mean, if it works in Louisville, why would it not work in Lexington?
So would you like to go to a game and sit and have a beer?
I don't want a big drinker anyway.
Okay.
So I don't think it would matter to me as much,
But if you go with your buddies,
I'm such a big sports fan
that you'd go regardless. No, you said a minute ago you'd rather sit at home.
Well, I would, but if I'm there, I think that I would just be so into the game and wanting to celebrate that I'd have to worry about spilling my drink or whatever.
Yeah,
I feel
that
like
could be an issue too, spilling the drinks
Yeah.
and things like that. But if people are flasking and putting it in their pants pockets or whatever, they're probably
and
spilling
that's
it.
just how I feel. I mean, I would much rather stay at home, give me my wings and my Pepsi, and let me stay at home and watch it with Reagan and the new one on the way. That just kind of relax and sit back and do that. Now, a lot of times, your crazy comes out when you're out in public too. If you're sitting there going crazy at a ball game, people are looking
Because
over
of a bad
at you.
call.
Yes, or a crazy
yelling
moment that
at the
happened in the
ref.
game, a crazy catch or a crazy shot or whatever the
I
case may
gotcha.
be.
On
And you
the
can see
tee.
your reg net might come out if that's the case or whatever. But,
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of cases like that as well.
At the Dodgers game, the entire 3 sections around us were all fine except 2 rows in front of us, and we had a crazy drunk lady right in front of us.
Was her
of
name
course,
Samantha?
No, I didn't have anything to drink. But her people with her were cautious of what she was doing.
Yeah.
And she was having fun, and that was fun. My kids were enjoying watching her, and they were kind of videotaping her because she wasn't being ugly. She wasn't slopping her drink on everybody, but she was yelling it out and a little slurring of the words, but she was giving it out the chance.
Well, here's the thing, too. So a lot of times what most people would have to have a drink to do, I'll do anyway. You know, I stand it up on the table.
So
I'll
it really
do that.
is a non-issue for you.
Yeah, what some people have to have 3 or 4 drinks to be able to do and loosen up.
Yeah.
I don't loose when I come in the door, so it don't really affect me either way to have a drink or two.
For me, I'm a social drinker. I like to sit down at dinner and have a drink when I have dinner. So I don't really drink at home. But so for me to go to the game and to have a beer, I'm a 1 or 2 beer drinker. So I would like to have that.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
But I'm not going to have
Why don't
4
you
or 5.
Email Miss Barnhart and tell him.
No, I'm out. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, one thing, too, that I think makes the games more appealing to fans to stay at home and watch. Now, if it's a local high school game.
They can have a beer in their lounge chair at home.
If it's a local high school game, I feel like you need to get out and support the kids.
Right.
You know, and especially if it's a big game. You know, now if it's a Kentucky game and they're playing, you know, whoever, it's going to be on TV.
Like
you
one
can
of the
watch
first
it,
2 games.
save a lot of money. But now the local high school teams make it very affordable.
That is true.
The bleachers, they really cater to the fans. I mean, they do a really good job of catering to the local fan and making them
we need more of
want
that.
to come out
There's
and support
definitely
their
no
teams.
alcohol at those games.
No, exactly.
For sure. It's those games, they do make it a lot of fun. And you've got your band that performs, your cheerleaders, your dance teams, and the football teams. So
81% of our voters said they would rather stay at home and watch a sporting event. 19%.
That is so surprisingly
said they would rather go
high.
and watch the game live. That is very high. 81% saying they would rather stay home. And that
You
Facebook
can keep
poll,
voting.
That Facebook poll is brought to you by the Law Office of Patrick O'Neill. If you need legal advice on workers' compensation, SSI, Social Security benefits, and more, call 606-666-2990 for a free consultation with the
people
Law
keep
Office
voting,
of Patrick
right?
O'Neill. Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
You can keep
Law
voting.
Office.
It's going to be up for 19 more hours.
Yeah, so keep voting. We'll still read it tomorrow.
And you can comment as well. Comment your thoughts. Why you would want to stay at home and watch the game.
Right.
Why you would rather go to the game and watch it live. You can share your opinions on there as well on the Facebook page, WBON TV.
And maybe we could start putting up a poll even on a Sunday to give it an extra day, so that more people that might be home on a Sunday and have some extra free time.
Well, the person that does the Facebook poll will take that into consideration. Okay?
That's you.
I mean, they got to work on Sunday, so but.
Well, I don't want you to have to work on Sunday. Okay, so how long does it take you? 2 minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
That's 2 minutes. I could be doing something else though on Sunday.
True. Okay.
Well, listen, we want to say thank you to all of our great sponsors like Buffalo Wild Wings here in the Richmond Center. Make sure to stop by and check out the new burger. Their menu is loaded with awesome sporting event food.
Yeah.
You know, so come on over here. Football season right around the corner. Stop in, get you a burger, watch the NFL games. You know, preseason football starts this week. The best place to hang out and watch the games
I was
here at
looking to
Buffalo
see
Wild
if we
Wings.
were on.
The Jack Burford Chevrolet is one of our big sponsors as well. Yeah, we're here over on. You can watch us on WBON TV over there on the TV.
Right over there, WBON. You can come in here to B-Dubs and watch us.
But you can also hang out with us over at Jack Burford Chevrolet. We'll be over there the third Monday of each month, and in a couple of weeks, Mark Elder will join us over at Jack Burford Chevrolet. You know, the new Silverado is out, and I saw on Facebook that they have a couple of really good deals this month on the Silverado, a couple of other vehicles as well. So check out jackburford.com for the complete inventory at Jack Burford Chevrolet. For all of us here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show, for our producer Austin Hanks and Gage Hill tonight hanging out with us, for our radio producer Jaden Johnson, she is Samantha Burford. I am Michael Watkins. We'll see you next Monday here on the Jack Burford Chevrolet Sports Show.
Patrick O'Neill has been serving Central and Eastern Kentucky since 1995. When someone is accused of something they didn't do, or when a good person makes a mistake, they need the best representation they can find. And that's Patrick O'Neill. Whether it's criminal defense, Social Security, disability, personal injury, workers' compensation, or deeds and wills, when you need legal advice, trust the expertise of Patrick O'Neill. He will get you the money you deserve. His office is located in Jackson, but Patrick practices all over Central and Eastern Kentucky. For more information or for a free consultation, call 606-666-2990.
Escape to sports with Buffalo Wild Wings. GM Tommy Martin invites you to come watch your favorite team play at Buffalo Wild Wings, the best game day atmosphere and happy hour in town. Menu items as low as $2 each weekday 2 to 7 and again 10 till close. Plus wing specials every Tuesday and Thursday. Don't forget to ask your server about the Blazing Rewards program and see how you can earn free food. Buffalo Wild Wings, Richmond Center.
It's not a video game or something that's played on a screen. It's Chevy Youth Baseball, touching the lives of 8 million kids since 2006. It's local Chevy dealers giving back. Because every kid deserves a chance to play. We're not just the official vehicle of Major League Baseball. We're empowering the next generation of Major League hopefuls. Because Chevy cares.